Wait, someone needs to hear this.
Yo.
You guys, we started this at exactly 11:11. If that's not a sign, I don't know what is. But welcome back to another episode of Please Say It Again. It's your
Yes.
hosts, Sadie and Lily,
Hello, y'all.
and we're so excited to just be doing another episode of Please Say It Again. Here we are. Hello, we have our coffee full to the brim. Like literally, Lily had it like all the way up.
Full to the rim.
Yes. But let me tell you guys, it was so hard to come across this fucking coffee this week. I
Oh my
swear
God.
to God.
It was too hard. It should not be that hard.
No. Okay, so we both are obsessed with Stoke coffee cold brew. If you've tasted it, you know why. Like, you know what's up.
It's so good.
And tell me why. Okay, she's in Oregon, like we've talked about before. I'm down in LA. We both go to our Targets, and what is that called?
The shelves are empty. Stoke, I need you to fucking tell me what's going on. Are you guys short? Because I will go to your shop and get it
help.
myself. Like, I'll
Right.
help. Hire me right now.
Honestly,
I'll quit my
help
job.
you.
Where you at?
Right. Or like, I don't know, can you send more to Target? Like,
Yeah. Can we request more to Target? Is that a possibility? Do you have a link for
honestly,
that?
yeah, because I will request like I was telling Lily the next time I go and find it, I will literally buy like 5 bottles. Like, I'm
Yeah.
not kidding.
And these last, you guys, so long. I literally have mine right here actually. And I bought this like a week ago and it's good until January. Like,
Wow.
isn't
I
that
didn't know.
crazy?
Yeah.
You could buy all your coffee at once and just sip away. And this thing is
See,
$5 for like it's 48 ounces of cold brew.
dang,
Okay.
yeah.
I'm telling
Yeah.
you, get it.
Honestly, and like, okay, I'd rather spend $5 a week than $5 a day, like going
And
to
that's
get
unfair.
coffee. And it's so good. It's so smooth. This is not an ad. We wish
No.
it was. So
It could be.
Stoke,
It
if
could
you
be.
ever come across this, we are obsessed.
If you
And
ever want to send us your new coffee, go ahead.
for real, we will try it. Lily likes the blue one. I like the purple one.
Okay, so I like the bold and smooth of the not sweet.
Yeah,
Just
not sweet.
just to
send,
clarify, so you
yeah,
can send it to me. I'm
just
just
so
kidding.
you know. Like, I just
Just want to be a little more specific.
yeah. But so that was our coffee drama for the week.
Oh my God.
If you guys drink Stoke and you guys go to somewhere else other than Target to buy it, let us know and we will literally like race over there right now. But yeah, so that was our like little drama for the week. But welcome back in.
Yeah.
I guess we could just like kind of kickstart this with the quotes of the week.
Yeah.
It was so funny. I was like, oh, I'll do a quote of the week, but I always find like a lot that I'm obsessed with. So,
Yeah.
I'm just gonna share some that I resonated with that I love. The first one is, and it says, creating a healthy mindset is an investment in your overall well-being, which is so true. If you take the time to invest in your mindset, then that just means like, going within, changing the way that you talk to yourself. Like, girl, what are you saying to yourself? Are you telling yourself you're a queen? Are you telling yourself you're a bad bitch? Because if you're not, you're doing it wrong. Because
Period.
I'm here to tell you, you are a queen, you're a bad bitch, and you got this.
Yes.
And that will just really help your overall well-being. There's nothing not true in that quote.
Right.
So, the second one that I absolutely fell in love with is, one day you will look back and see that all along you were blooming, which is true. Like, all of this stuff that you're going through right now is just growth. Like, boo-boo,
Period.
you are growing, and one day you will be a flower if you're not already. Maybe you're a whole ass rose. I don't know.
Maybe.
You
Maybe you're a peony. Who fucking
Yeah.
knows?
Like, be what you want to be, do what you want to do.
Because all flowers are beautiful, and that's on period.
Honestly, but yes, guys, happy Monday. I hope that this helps you guys start your guys' week, and let's just jump into it. This week's topic is all about. Lily, do you want to take it away?
Yeah, so this week's topic is all about self-care inside and out. No
Yes.
period.
Yes, yes, yes. Because to take care of yourself on the inside, you have to take care of yourself on the outside.
Exactly what you said.
But I guess we'll just hop right in. So, Lily,
What
what
it
is
is.
your ideal like self-care day? Like what does that look like for you?
Well, I would say my ideal self-care day would honestly be, well, I guess my ideal self-care is usually at night. I feel like for me, like a good self-care day is like winding down
Yeah.
and just like I like to do like my nighttime skin routine. I like to add a little mask in there. I love having like my room clean and my like area just organized. It just makes me feel so much better and it just makes me feel like there's positive energy. I don't know if anyone else feels that, but if you do, like you can totally relate.
Yeah.
I also like to meditate, like light a candle, burn some incense, all that good stuff. But yeah,
Love that.
that's my ideal self-care. What about you, Sadie?
Yeah, so it's pretty much about the same. I really do like having like a nice night. Like that's my ideal time is I'll like start around the evening. But I'm a little different in that way where sometimes I'll do a mask, but it's not like, something that I'm like, oh, I need to get a mask. But usually if my space, like clean my space, it has to be clean because I love that like that feeling of just like a clean room and I just feel like the energy can flow so much better. And then I have to take a shower and be fresh and clean and come out. And then, I sage my space and meditate and just really try to be alone. And that's like what my self care looks like. And yeah,
Yeah.
sometimes I'll do a mask and moisturize stuff like that. My like night skincare routine right now is pretty basic. I don't have like a whole bunch of steps, but as long as I like get my moisturizer on, I feel great.
Right.
That's how that's how I like really take care of myself, like on a self care. Like that's my like ideal self care day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like that.
Like,
Well, I mean, like we said in our topic, like self-care inside and out, we talked about the outside self-care. So, what about your inside self-care? What do you do to take care of your inside?
ooh, yeah, like going in, I feel like meditation can be like, something that's like an outer, but definitely an inner, because meditation is all about going inside yourself, like within. And like this is like a perfect example, the other night I was like, I had some like weird anxiety and I wasn't sure like from what. And I just took the time to meditate and really like discover that for myself. And that helped so much, just like going within. And I do like to do shadow work on days like that, just to like
Yeah.
really like what like break down each of the things that like came up in meditation and be able to let it go. Just being aware of things.
Like cleansing yourself?
Yeah. And
Yeah.
before I meditate or do any shadow work like that, I always like sage the area and make sure that, and have my crystals and make sure that the area is like, clean and how I really like connect with myself. And if I don't do that, especially, and I think I needed to do that the other day because I haven't done that in a while. And
Right.
because I'll become like uncentered with myself. And that's just the way I center myself. And being centered with myself is definitely when I feel the most healthy, like inside, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes
Yeah.
sense.
But what about you? Like, how do you take care of like your inner self?
Well, I feel like I do a lot of the same things as you. For like my inner self-care, I definitely trying to like see what's like if I'm having a bad day, like, I try and like be like, what's wrong? Like, what about the situation is like getting you so upset, like
Yeah.
taking care of that and like making myself feel better and like understanding that, just kind of like centering myself, I would
Mhm.
say. Also love meditating. I feel like it definitely grounds me, brings me back to like a positive energy. I also sometimes I like to let my mind roam because I definitely feel like sometimes like your inner self wants to let something out or just
Mm,
wants to, you know, like free itself. And I think like
yeah.
sometimes like when you let your mind just go, you really find things that you didn't know,
Yeah, I
or like
completely
you
agree.
really, yeah, as your day goes on, especially when you're busy and super stressed out, if things pop in your head, like you just kind of ignore it and like keep doing what you're doing because like you're working or you're studying or whatever it may be. But I think giving yourself some time to allow your mind to like really feel your thoughts is definitely something that I think is a self-care for your mind and your heart.
Yeah,
Because for me personally, like if I'm thinking of a certain thing, it always leads to another thing and then another thing.
yeah,
Like it's like this little puzzle, and then at the end, I'm just like, oh my God, that makes so much sense.
yeah, and
You know
those
what
are
I
things I
mean?
feel like if it keeps popping up, like, you just have to let the thought, like, finish itself, even no matter, like, how
Exactly.
uncomfortable it may be, and I think that, you told me a couple weeks ago about, like, when you're driving in your car, like, not listening to anything because a lot of
Yeah.
the times that's what you use to distract yourself, and if you're listening to
Mhm.
music, whatever, like, that's just a distraction for your mind,
Yeah.
and sometimes it's good to just sit in your car and drive in silence and allow yourself to, like, think what you need to think about and allow those thoughts to come up, and yeah, sometimes it
Exactly.
sucks because you are purposely, like, trying to suppress things, but the only way to, like, get to let it go and to get rid of it is to just, like, think the thought, feel the feeling, and then let it go, like,
Yeah,
that's what
and
you need to do.
along with that, like, sometimes you have to literally let yourself just kinda cry.
Mhm,
Like, let your emotions run through, and sometimes it's built up, and sometimes it's just in the moment. Like, personally, when I get really, really stressed, I like get not emotional, but I cry because I cannot
mhm.
express my emotions. When I'm stressed, I just cry. But
I
and
think
I think sometimes you just need that
yeah,
because it like honestly it does make me feel better after I do cry.
mhm,
And sometimes it's like not because you're sad, it's not because something's going on, like I am so happy at where I am in life. Like obviously I'm improving my life every day, but I'm so grateful for where I am now than I was like a year from today. And in situations where I just let myself cry, I feel so much better after because it just feels like I let it go. Like
yeah,
it was in there, it was all clenched up. Like,
yeah,
when your jaw gets super clenched and like
yeah,
you can't speak because like
yeah,
you're just like holding it all in. Like
yeah.
sometimes you need to go to your work bathroom and let a couple tears fall out of your eyes.
For real, and I feel like a lot of people can actually relate to that, like, being
Yeah.
so overwhelmed where it's like you just cry, or like I get like
Yeah.
that sometimes if I get too angry, like I'll just cry.
Yeah. Oh my God. Same.
And you know what it is? It's because you don't know how to like you can be so angry and not know how to like channel that like energy, so it just like comes out like crying. Like what else are you supposed to do?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
right?
I
Yeah.
think I don't know if anybody can relate. I'm sure people can, but for me, I used to just say what's on my mind. And for me, now when I get angry, I cry because I do not allow myself to like say those things because like
Mhm.
I've learned over time, obviously those are unhealthy traits.
Yeah.
And that's why I cry when I'm angry because I just want to say what's on my mind, but I cannot because I respect the relationship too much. And it's so hard sometimes that it just makes you cry because you just want to, just kind of ram.
Right. Or you just want to scream and it's like, okay,
Yeah.
I can't scream right now, so let me just do this. Or yeah, sometimes I get like you can like feel it in your body and like you just need to like hit something. And
Yeah.
sometimes you can't. So
Yeah. No, and I definitely think that's something with like your inner self-care. That's like your heart and your mind self-care. Sometimes you gotta just let that shit out. If you need to scream, girl, scream in a pillow, scream outside, scream in public, do whatever the fuck you want.
honestly,
Like sometimes you just gotta do it to like make yourself feel better and also to like recenter yourself. You can't just hold
yeah.
everything in. Then because then what the like you're messing with your mind now and you're not self-caring. You're actually doing the opposite.
Yeah.
You're hurting yourself.
Yeah. Also, if you are going through a period of time where you're like you feel sad or you feel like you have some like pent up emotion that you need to let go of, one thing, and a lot of people confuse this for like, well, I don't want to put myself in that space because it's like toxic. But the thing is you have to allow yourself to feel your feelings. You have to give yourself permission and tell yourself
Exactly.
it's okay that I'm sad right now.
Yep.
And so a way to like do that and to let it go and kind of be done with it is, at least for me personally, I will go on a drive and I will put on the most heartbreaking song, something that I relate
Yes.
to, and
And
I
just
will just
fucking
cry.
yes.
Because
And
sometimes, you know, you just need to feel like it's the end of a movie and it's like you're
yes.
going through the sadness. And like, what is that thing? Like, you have to be the main character in your story. Yeah. And that
Yes.
includes that part. So,
That includes that part too, boo. Like the whole tears, like outside in the rain, or
right.
while it's pouring, you're fucking crying all over the place. Like
Yeah.
you literally, and those are like things people don't talk about. Like, I know sometimes, like for instance, this week I was super overwhelmed at my job, and I literally go to the bathroom for 5 on my break, and I just fucking cry in the bathroom because I'm like super stressed, super overwhelmed. There's like a lot happening. And I remember telling Sadie, and she, like as the best friend she is, she was like, what the fuck? Like I'm gonna go over there and beat their ass.
Yeah. It was
But
so
that's
stupid.
where, yeah, that's where your feelings come in and say, like I told Sadie, I was just, no, like I'm not like sad. Like I'm not it's more of like, I'm so fucking overwhelmed and stressed that I have to let it out. Like I couldn't hold it in.
And that's like healthy. Like, that's when you know. I feel like for the longest time, people will say, like, oh, like that's toxic and like that's not good for your mental health. And what's not good for your mental health is to sit and like to like be depressed. Like, that's not good. Like, that's not good for your mental health. If you're depressed, like, you know, you have to try to find ways to pull yourself out of it. And you know, if you need to be depressed for whatever amount of time, then that's what you're going through. Like, that's valid. Like, those are all
Right.
valid things. But for people to say, like, if you address your feelings or if you let yourself cry or let yourself be weak, like quote unquote weak, then like that's not good. But no, it's like that's how you take care of your mind, your body, and your spirit, is by
Exactly.
releasing the things that don't serve you. If you're holding on to something that makes you feel anxious, makes you feel sad, makes you feel angry, that is not healthy. And you have to find a way that works for you to let it go, whether that be crying it out, whether that be journaling or meditating or, you know, if whatever you believe in, whether that be like praying or whatever, like you have to find what works best for you to let that go. Because if not, those things are going to build and build and build and build and just become even more unhealthy. And nobody
Right.
wants that. You know,
No.
I wanted to backtrack because Lily brought up a point of like saying like if you allow yourself to like be in your thoughts and stuff like that, like things will come out that you necessarily didn't know, or that like you know how to communicate with yourself.
Right.
Right? Like, you understand what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
So this happened to me a couple days ago, and Lily knows because I like called her after, and it It was like I wasn't having a bad day. I was just like earlier in the day, I like felt a little bit of anxiety like out of nowhere. I was like what is happening? Like why do I feel like this? And it like I just couldn't shake it. So I decided, okay, like I need to have like a self-care night. Like I'm alone right now. Like let me clean my area, sage, whatever, meditate. Okay. So I start meditating and like things start popping up. And I'm like, oh, okay, like that's where this anxiety is rooting from. And normally, like 7 times out of 10, something that's bothering you like has something to do with your like childhood. So that's where like shadow work comes in and like addressing like where those feelings started so you can heal from it and let it go.
Right.
And so some things came up about just like self-doubt and stuff like that, and it's just like, dang, like it sucks that I feel like this. Like why do I feel like this?
Yeah.
So then I like took it to like my shadow self, and I really was like, okay, like why am I feeling like things are going good right now? So why do I have so much self-doubt? Like why do I feel like this? Like this sucks. And I won't say like what it was, but in my head, like usually like you'll receive like messages from yourself or whatever, whether it be through an image or through like words like popping up, like you'll know.
Yeah.
Um, and I just saw this image of myself like with my hands put together, pointing at me, saying, "You're doing this for you, not for them." And she was very like, "Drop the BS. You're doing this for you, not for them." And
Exactly.
it's so crazy because it's like that came from myself, but that saying where it says all you need is within is so
Mhm.
true because all I needed was a reminder that like it was from myself, like you're
Yeah.
doing this for you, not for them. So like stop, like you're good. And
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, like you're right. Like I like stopped that session and I was just like, wow, like okay, I'm good. Like
Right.
and obviously, like I call Lily and I'm talking to her and I'm just like telling her everything and she gives me her advice and like just being like just reminding me like you're a bad bitch, like stop, like you're fine, like. And yeah, also if you have a best friend, like go talk to them.
Yeah. No,
That
it yeah, I think that brings it back to what you said earlier. Like, you have to always remember that you're the main character of your story. And that includes remembering that everything you do in your life is because you want to do it, not because other people are telling you to do it, not because someone convinced you to do it. You need to do things in your life for yourself. Like, you
Mhm.
can't do it because you think that people will like you. Like,
Yeah.
no. The right people will come into whatever you're doing, whether it's a business, whatever it is, social media. The right people will look at you
Mhm.
if you put out the right energy, you
Yeah.
know?
And if there's people that like that don't like you or whatever, or they don't like what you're saying, or they don't want to be around you, then like to each their own. Boo boo.
Exactly.
If they don't want to be there, you don't want them there. So
Exactly.
always remember that.
And, talking about, inner self-care, it has so much to do with outer self-care. They are the same goal, you know what I
Mhm,
mean? Like, it's to take care of you,
mhm.
whether it's inside or out. So for me, self-care outside is like taking care of yourself, loving your body, making sure that you are good, like outside, because you want to make yourself feel better and you want to
Mhm.
take care of yourself. And inner self-care for me also is like a mental like care. I cannot express this enough. You cannot expect somebody else to take care of the inside you. That's
No.
your job. That's not somebody else's job. And you should never put pressure on other people like
Yeah.
that, because what if they aren't taking care of their inner self either?
Right.
You have to learn how to be there for yourself and not rely on other people.
Yeah. Another thing is as you like go through your journey of like everything, like literally just growing, like learning how to own your shit is the best thing you can do. Because yes, you have feelings and you can think like, oh, this situation made me feel this way.
Right.
That's fine. But you can't blame other people for the way that you feel, especially if it has something to do with like something that's going on with you internally. You
Mm-hmm.
can't put that on someone else. I'm trying to think of an example. Like this was when I first started like all of my like shadow work and all like self-discovery and all that kind of stuff and just being comfortable with who I am. I went through a period of time where I didn't feel like good in my body. Like I didn't feel confident in myself. I felt ugly. And
Yeah.
for me, if my boyfriend didn't say like, "Oh, you look pretty," or if I saw him like staring or something, I would be like, "Well, why are you doing that? Like you're making me
Yeah.
feel like I'm ugly." And it's
Yeah.
like, no, like that's not his fault because,
Yeah.
and he would like, like, I'm looking at you because you look really good right now. Like. So like
Yeah.
I was internalizing like what I was feeling on the inside and putting it onto him. So it's like
Mm-hmm.
I could take that away from me. So I
Yeah.
can be like, no, like it's your fault that I feel this way. It's
Yeah.
like, no, like, well, I needed to, take care of that for myself and do things that would make me feel good in my body and just more confident. And for outer self-care, like that's what I do. Like my self-care, like how I take care of myself is by working out regularly
Yeah.
and by, taking a shower, cleaning myself, using deodorant and perfume.
Right.
Like those are things that make me feel good during the day, and
Yeah.
it reflects. Like if like everyone's had a time where their water gets shut off and they're like, oh shit, like I couldn't shower today, and you
Yeah.
could just tell it like brings them down. Like even if you can't like smell them or whatever, it's still
Yeah.
like something that like that's what they do to feel good throughout the day. So like if I can't shower and I have to like go somewhere, I'm like, ugh, like I wish I was able to shower, and then it brings down my mood.
Yeah.
And that's just, that's one of the ways that I take care of myself is by
Mm-hmm.
doing those things, by making sure that I have like worked out or done something active for the day, showered, put my perfume on, put some nice lotion on, put my
Yeah.
moisturizer on, like do my makeup, like because those are things that make me feel pretty and make me feel my most confident self. And so those are
Exactly.
right. So those are things that I'm going to do before I go out into the world. Or even on days that I do my inner work, those are things that I'm going to do before I do my inner work. Because if I feel
Yeah.
good out here, it helps me feel good in here.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing. Like if you feel good inside, you're going to feel good on the outside. If you feel bad on the inside, you're going to look bad on the outside. Like,
Yeah. It's all about the energy you're putting out there. And I also want to say that you're not always gonna have the positive self-care energy.
mhm.
And that's okay because we all have bad days. I
Yeah,
think the important part is to bring yourself back,
yeah,
like catching yourself and being able to bring yourself back to centering yourself, to doing what's on your self-care list, to doing what's on your inner self-care list, to making sure that you're good,
hmm,
but don't feel like you're not doing a good job because you had a bad day. Like we
yeah,
all have bad days and we all forget sometimes to take care of ourselves. I think it's
right.
about reminding yourself and holding yourself accountable to, you know, always try and bring yourself back to where you want to be.
Yeah, and I think that like being able to pick yourself up is one of the most important parts, but it's also one of the hardest parts. And
Yeah.
because we've all been there where we're sitting and we're like, you just don't feel great, and like you're just like, I want to lay in bed all day. I don't want to do anything, like
Yeah.
whatever. And it's that like being like, no, like we're not gonna do this.
Yeah.
We're gonna get up and we're gonna go do something, or we're gonna
Exactly.
go take care of whatever we need to take care of. That's the
Yeah.
hard part, but that's why it's so important.
Yeah. And I think to kind of summarize everything up, I definitely want everyone, take away what you want to take away from this. But I think what's most important is that you just are able to find your own self-care. Because maybe, like me and Sadie, like we're best friends, and although we lived together for 2 weeks, like we literally had a whole fucking routine together. So we're like super, super similar. We are definitely on almost exactly the same wavelength. And your self-care might not be what ours is.
Yeah,
You know, you might have
yours
a different.
might look, yeah, I was just gonna say yours might look completely different.
Yeah, but it's your self-care.
And before we wrap it up, I wanted to just say really quick, I just had this thought and I feel like I need to share it. When you get to a level of like loving yourself, which is something that if you haven't already found, you will find someday. You will love yourself so much one day. And it will be hard to talk yourself out of what's important, because when even a year ago, I could easily say like, oh, I'm not gonna like I'm not gonna go run today. Like I'm not gonna go work out. Like no, I'm not gonna do it.
Yeah.
Whereas today, I have to like I will catch myself trying to talk myself out of not going to work out, and I'm like, wait, like why am I doing that? Like
Yeah.
I am doing this for me because this makes me feel good. So like why
Yeah.
like what's wrong with you? And so I just would like to say it's hard to talk yourself out of what's important.
And with that being said, we want you guys to go to our Instagram, and we're gonna post a question and let us know what your self-care is. What's your self-care routine? What's your inside self-care routine? What's your outside self-care routine? All that good
What
stuff.
Yeah, what makes you feel the most confident? Like what makes you feel
Yes.
like I'm gonna have a great day today? But yeah, just following what Lily said, go check out our Instagram at Please Say It Again. Answer the question, let us know what your self-care looks like, what makes you feel like your best self. And we will talk to you next week.
Yes. Thank you guys so much for listening. We love you guys. And like Sage said, we'll see you next week. All
Love you
right.
guys.
Bye.
Bye.